to this January 13th, 2026 meeting of the Blair Mayor and County. I'm Mindy Rump, Mayor of Blair, and I'm pleased that you have joined us this evening. Even you in the back. I hear you. Hi. This is a public meeting and you're a part of the process. I encourage you to participate, share your thoughts, and ask questions. I want you to feel comfortable, and please share your thoughts at any time, but you have to come up to the podium to do so. We have several rules to help us proceed with this meeting, and I ask that you keep them in mind. Please turn off your cell phones. If you need to take a call, step outside the chamber. When you wish to speak, simply raise your hand, and I will acknowledge you, and you can come forward to the podium. Brenda Wheeler, our city clerk, must record who you are, so please state your name, spell your last name, and state your address. Keep your remarks brief, about 3 minutes, so that others have the opportunity to speak. And please, this is very important, direct your comments to either myself, to City Council, or to our city staff. A copy of the Open Meetings Act has been posted by both exits, and we will begin this evening with the roll call of members. Banner?
Present.
Alston?
Here.
Long?
Here.
Wolf?
Here.
Willis? Clark?
Here.
Fletcher?
Yep.
Highfield?
Here.
All members present except for Willis. Thank you. If you please stand and join me for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 4, approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please register your vote. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 5, recognition of the Blair Police Department, Washington County Sheriff's Department, and Blair Volunteer Fire Department for their response to the fire at the La Quinta Apartments. Chief Kinsey.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm inviting Sheriff Robinson and where's Chief Aiden right back here. Come on up with us, please. Awards are supposed to be fun. Anyway, we have an awards recognition here tonight for our officers, all of our public safety professionals tonight, and Captain Lyon is going to read a little bit a citation description of it, and then we're going to have a short video to show you what our officers and deputies and emergency personnel responded to that night at the La Quinta fire.
In the early morning hours of November 27th of 2025, officers of the Blair Police Department and deputies of the Washington County Sheriff's Office responded to a structure fire in an occupied apartment complex located at 1616 Adams Street. Upon arrival, they encountered a rapidly advancing fire with thick smoke filling the building and numerous residents still trapped inside. With complete disregard for their own safety, the responding officers and deputies immediately took action, demonstrating exceptional courage, unwavering commitment to the preservation of human life. They made repeated entries into the smoke-filled structure under hazardous and rapidly deteriorating conditions. Through coordinated and decisive efforts, they located and safely evacuated approximately 24 residents. Their heroic actions directly prevented serious injury and likely loss of life. Even after the evacuation was completed, they assisted fire personnel with securing the scene, ensured all residents were accounted for, and established a reunification area for displaced occupants. Recognizing the dangers posed by below freezing temperatures, they coordinated emergency shelter resources through local churches, American Red Cross. Blankets, clothing, and supplies were distributed to the residents who fled the building with nothing more than what they were wearing. The courage, professionalism, compassion displayed during this incident reflect the highest traditions of public safety service. Their actions embody the true meaning of heroism and stand as a testament to their dedication to protecting the lives of others. For their extraordinary bravery and selfish actions during the structure fire, 1616 Adams Street, following individuals are deserving recognition with the Heroism Award. From the Blair Police Department, Sergeant Trevor Whitrock, Officer Austin Peck, Officer Jacob Flynn. From the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Colton Bevensey, Deputy Justin Jorgensen, and Deputy Reed Livermore.
Congratulations, gentlemen, thank you.
Along with that, the other people, I don't know if we have any in the room or not, but the other ones that we need to recognize also are the dispatchers. They do have a very tough job being on the backside of that, not knowing what's going on. It's kind of hard to say, but this is our job. We can't single any one person out or a group of people out because this is what we're trained to do. But I'd like to, on November 25th at approximately 1:21, the Blair Volunteer Fire Department, along with Fort Calhoun Fire Department, was dispatched to the department with porch parties trapped. Due to the nature of the call, additional manpower was immediately requested from Kennard, Herman, Arlington, and Bennington Fire Departments. Upon arrival, initial crews conducted a rapid and thorough search of the apartment building, rescuing several tenants with simultaneously initiating an aggressive fire attack. Crews were able to quickly clear the structure and limit the fire damage to the apartment of origin, preventing further spread and minimizing overall property loss. A coordinated response, professionalism, and dedication demonstrated by all responding agencies played a critical role in protecting both lives and property during this incident. The Blair Volunteer Fire Department extends its sincere appreciation to our mutual aid partners for their teamwork and commitment to serving our communities. And along with these law enforcement professionals that also help us not only on this particular call, but every call that we go on that they're there. We truly extend gratitude to what they do and the help that they give us also. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, presentation from officers of the Blair Volunteer Fire Department of the 2025 annual report. You should have just stayed up here.
I know.
Exercise.
Well, I met at Mayor's Council, kind of our annual recap of the year previous. As you can see on the screen, the composition of the Department of Active Duty members. We have 33 lifetime members. These are people that go over on the lifetime. They can still respond to calls and do other duties, but some of the requirements aren't there that they have to meet with being an active member. We have 2 medical leave, or 2 members on medical leave, and then we have a cadet program with 8 participants. These are the kids from the high school that participate with us. We have 3 senior cadets that are allowed to go on calls with us during certain times. They've been a tremendous asset to us. And then we have 5 that are, basically they come up, they do training with us, they do training on their own, kind of get to know the job, and then as they get older, they can move into the senior cadet situation where they can actually respond to calls. Yes, I got it. Oh, there it goes. Last year we had, we responded to 1,420 calls for service, 1,090 medical calls, and 330 fire-related calls. These are the totals for each member that is on the department as far as the number of calls that they responded to over the year. As you can see, there's quite a few. Talk about the apparatus that we have. We haven't changed anything. Everything's been pretty much the same as what we've had in the past. I think it was last year we added the gator. The rule board added the gator. It's got a pack on it that we can do wildland fires with it. It also has a place where we can haul a patient if we need to get into some remote area. We can put a patient on it. We're currently in the process. Next year we will be receiving a new ambulance. That's been that's about a 3-year process, and also, barring nothing, in 27 we should be getting a new engine, city engine, that will replace our 20-year-old truck that we have currently. That also is a 3-year process. Some new equipment that we've gotten this year. We got what they call an AccuVein. That's for the guys that can do IVs. If they can't see a vein real good, it kind of lights it up and makes it so you can see. We replaced our aging gas monitors, so when we get CO alarms or hazmat incidences, we can detect that. That next picture there is what they call a hypersight. It's a thermal imaging camera that's mounted on the top of our grass trucks. So when we're out in the smoky conditions, it's like a thermal imaging camera, so you can actually, it's truly amazing. You cannot see the front bumper on the truck, but yet you can still see the road and what's in front of you. So we have those on the 2 grass trucks that we got the last one last year, the rural board. We did take some donation money and we purchased these Zoll AEDs that you see around town also. So we have an AED on every truck that we have. kind of been lagging on that, and it's kind of one of those things, it's like, we probably should be doing that, so. And then we replaced some suction units on their rescue squad. That's some of the stuff that we've done. We did buy some new extrication equipment towards the beginning of the year that replaced some of the aging stuff that we have. As you can see from our call volume, from 2020 in the last 5 years, 2020 we had 882 calls, and 2025, like I said, we had 1,420. It's just been steadily going up. With those calls, 120 calls for service, surpassing last year's by 105. And then, including the busiest day that we had this last year, August 9th, we had 33 calls for service in one day. That was during the storm. In total, these incidents accounted for over 968 hours of on-scene response time alone. That does not count our training hours that we've had. So you can pretty much, I'm guessing, just about double that number when you add in the training hours that we have. We conduct countless hours training, maintaining equipment, conducting inspections, participating in community events, and administrative duties that we have. 2026, again, like I said before, we extend our appreciation to our mutual aid partners. Also at the Blair Police Department, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, the county dispatchers, for the great work that they do. And we're on pace for another record year. We got, I think we're about 40 calls already for the year, 41. So we're cruising right along, so.
Well, it's not exactly the record-breaking numbers we want to see.
No, but it's.
I know I speak for the whole council, Mr. Ayton, when we express our sincere appreciation for your dedication and your heroism to the whole entire department. I mean, those numbers are just 200 shy of doubling in 5 years.
Yep.
And that's incredible.
Well, the one thing that I know I say, and I know the department does too, is having people like yourselves to work with us and give us the equipment that we do have. We are very, very, very fortunate to have what we do. It doesn't take very far to go to see some of the equipment that's out there, and to have what we do, we are very fortunate, and we thank you for that.
This is the easy part. You guys are the ones that are getting up. Thank
Well,
you very much.
we are taking applications if you're interested.
You heard it here first. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item number 7, consider resolution number 2026-01, approving the mayoral appointments of lateral police officers for the Blair Police Department. Chief Kinsey, first resolution of the year.
I'll take it. It's a good resolution. And unfortunately tonight, I know it's with our expedited lateral process here and closing the books on the whole process. It was on Friday, having the candidates here tonight. I did not see any of them slip in and all the excitement. But thank you to the council for trusting us moving forward with the lateral process, and to the civil service for helping us with streamlining some of the civil service rules, for allowing us to go out and really focus and target on getting qualified applicants to join our police department. And thank you for allowing our department to grow. You can see not only just in the fire public safety numbers, but we've seen a dramatic increase in also police calls. And filling the ranks is important for public safety for our community. We are appointing 3 lateral police officers. Officer Chris Perkins, he's actually currently a sergeant with Omaha Police Department. He's spent 26.7 years there. He technically retired. He's in the drop program with Omaha, and he's got some fuel in the tank left for some law enforcement, so he reached out to me. I happened to actually work with him back in my previous life. We worked human trafficking cases together with the Child Exploitation Task Force, and he's a great guy, brings a lot of experience. He's going to bring a lot of experience to Blair. We could really use it. He's just excited about getting back in uniform and getting out in the car and patrolling our community. Chris DeSanglis is also an Omaha police officer. He's an 8-year veteran there. He lives here. He's raising his family here. It's important to him and his family. They've put down roots, and he wants to serve the community that he lives in. Lives just right outside of town, but his kids go to school here, and they're pretty active in the community. So he's bringing a lot of experience. He worked a couple years with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office also, prior to Omaha PD. So we'll get two good candidates there. And then Randy Cruz he's been out of law enforcement for a couple of years. He was a deputy in Knox County and Boyd County. He happens to, our officer Flynn recruited him. He's in the National Guard with them, knows him, and suggested that he come here. And he'd been looking to get back into law enforcement. He unfortunately had to leave law enforcement because his wife took a job. They had to move away. So he's been excited to get back in. I think it's going to be a great addition to our team. We're looking forward to having him. So thanks for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce resolution 2026-01.
Resolution number 2026-01 was introduced by Councilmember Highfield, approving the May Doyle appointment of lateral police officers for the Blair Police Department.
I'd like to move to adopt resolution number 2026-01 as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-01. Please register your vote. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 8, we have the promotion and badge pinning ceremony for Joshua Hathaway for his promotion to sergeant. Come forward.
Come on up here, Sarge. I'm going to move this out of the way and talk like this, right here, if that's okay.
Yes.
Sergeant Hathaway, bring your family. Why don't you stand right over here, Sarge? Right there. This is we're starting a tradition. It's a long-standing tradition that we formally recognize our people that have gone through the promotion process and are taking the next step in their law enforcement profession. It's a big night, Sergeant, for you guys that are in command, and I'm sure you can back me up on this. Sergeant is the most important position that we have in any law enforcement agency. It's the most, you wear both hats. You're a police officer on the street, and you're also a manager. It's so you got to wear two hats, and you got to make those decisions out on the street, and you got to take action, and that's why we promoted you, Josh. Sergeant Joshua Hathaway began his law enforcement career with the Nebraska Department of Corrections, serving from 2008 to 2015. During his tenure, he promoted through the ranks to corporal and sergeant and served as a crisis negotiator, including active negotiations during the 2015 Mother's Day riot. In 2015, Sergeant Hathaway joined the Blair Police Department, where he served as a police officer assigned to patrol until 2019. That year, he was selected to become an investigator, assigned to the 3-Corps Drug Task Force, working complex narcotics investigations across multiple jurisdictions. In 2022, he was promoted to detective, continuing his work in advanced investigations. In 2025, Sergeant Hathaway was selected as a part-time task force officer with the Drug Enforcement Administration, further expanding his role at the federal level. Throughout his career with the Blair Police Department, Sergeant Hathaway has served in numerous specialized and leadership roles, including field training officer, drone pilot, drone team coordinator, right guys? Firearms and rifle instructor and de-escalation instructor. He also serves as a certified Glock and AR-15 armor, supporting departmental readiness and officer safety. Sergeant Hathaway's career reflects a sustained commitment to leadership, training, and service at the local, state, and federal levels. And tonight, his wife Sarah is going to be pinning his badge on for him. And it's not assault if you happen to stick him. You get a free pass tonight in front of everybody. Congratulations, Sergeant Hathaway. Josh, sorry.
Item number 9, consider resolution of 2026-02, removing detective job description from the city-approved positions. Mr. Green.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that, Phil Green, City Administrator. What you have before you tonight in this resolution is just kind of the last technical step in transitioning from having our detectives in the police department be actual certified positions that end up going through a separate hiring process for those individuals and transitioning back to what many departments have, where detectives then would be patrol officers that are given a special assignment for several years. They go through some advanced training, obviously, to learn how to be good detectives. It's actually a skill set that is very, very helpful then for our regular patrol officers, and yet they'll serve for a certain period of time as they're assigned by the chief, and then ultimately, as a patrol officer, still would go back into the field. But they're able to use those skills then as they're out on patrol. They're also then potentially available to help fill in if we have a major accident that happens sometime and need additional support. Someone's off on vacation or ill, and that it ends up being another task to be looked at then for potential promotion sometime down the road. And Sergeant Hathaway is a great example of having that skill set really helping to set you apart. The civil service rules have already been changed, so everything is in place. The final official action that really needs to be done is for you as the council to basically take the job description of a qualified job, tear it up and say it's no longer a separate position. It's going to be an assignment then that the patrol officers are able to apply for, again, internally through the department. So any questions that you may have? Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any comments from the public? Having none, how would council like to proceed?
I'll introduce resolution number 2026-2.
Resolution number 2026-2 was introduced by resolution number 2022-26-02 was introduced by Councilmember Highfield, removing detective job description from the city approved positions.
I move we adopt resolution 2026-2 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-02 as presented. Please register your vote. Thank you for coming. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 10, consider resolution 2026-03, amending an agreement for animal sheltering services between the city of Blair and the Friends of the Gentleman Animal Shelter, increasing the annual fee to $101,760. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is an amendment then to the standing agreement that we have with the Friends of the Animal Shelter for the management of the shelter. Basically, these agreements are in place and continue on into the future until changed or modified. This now is adopting the full dollar amount, or at least what's stated in here right now. The $101,760 is the total dollar amount that was included in this current year's budget back that began in October. It's just now getting to this point. We have made our first quarterly payment to them, and so we'll be catching them up, and then there's quarterly payments for whatever the total dollar amount might be that you would approve tonight. So again, nothing else has really changed in this agreement other than the dollar amounts, and again, as I said, it was a dollar amount that was approved in the budget. So, any questions for me?
Any comments from the public? Judiciary Committee.
We did meet on this. We did talk that during the budget cycle, we asked the city administrators to go talk to the county and see if we can get some leverage from them to get them to pay some more money than they are paying now, which is zero, to help out the shelter as well. We agree that we should leave this in there since we approved it, and if Don County needs money, we're good with that so far. Miss anything?
Yeah, so if there's no questions, I'll introduce resolution 2026-03.
Resolution number 2026-03 was introduced by Councilmember Lecter, approving the agreement for the animal sheltering services between the city of Blair and the Friends of the Jeanette Hunt Animal Shelter, increasing the annual fee to $101,760.
Motion to adopt resolution 2026-03 is presented.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to adopt resolution number 2026-03. Please register your vote. All council members present, voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 11, resolution number 2026-04, approving the plans and specifications for the Black Elk Nighthawk Park Pump Station project and authorizing staff to solicit bids. Mr. Heaton.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, tell me, okay, we got new speakers in here tonight, so
Yay.
hopefully a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah, my first item tonight is the seeking your authorization to go out for bid on the Black Elk Pump Station project. I think, we maybe have touched on this over the last year on what we were looking at doing up there. I think everybody's familiar with Black Elk Park up on top of Dana Hill. But as you, kind of hard to see in this shaded rendering here, but as you come into the park, I think everybody that's been up there is pretty familiar with the cell phone towers that's right there when you come in. And there's a couple buildings there. One of those is a pump station. And what our plan is to, along with some needed electrical upgrades, a third or an additional pump. So instead of 2 pumps, there'll be 3. So we'll have extra redundancy in that pump station. And then the new piece that will be added that people will notice up there is a generator that will be tucked in next to the cell phone tower buildings. Right now, that pump station, if we lose power, it's down. There's no water going through that pump station. So it was important to us to make sure that we've all, every year we seem to get a storm that knocks us out for a little while. That generator will be a natural gas generator. We don't have to worry about it. If a storm comes, we can still produce water and get water flowing to everybody. Through here, just kind of pointing out some of the highlights. Like I mentioned, a third pump and a backup generator. One thing I think is important everybody to realize is that the water plant of the river produces the water and pushes that out through town to the various reservoirs. One of them being the West Reservoir that's at the other end of the parking lot at Black Elk Park, behind the Tower of the Four Winds. Right now, that reservoir is not used as much as it could be. And I know we've talked about potential for a water tower south of town eventually. This station, these improvements is kind of phase 1 of an overall water master plan, if you will, that will look at readjusting all the pressure zones in town. So as that water leaves the water plant and gets put out through the system, a chunk of that fills this reservoir. This pump station will then help distribute that to the whole northwest part of town. And as we expand the system, put more properties, more parts of town kind of relying on this pump station, and then put new stuff as it comes online, kind of on the water tower, the South Reservoir, just over $1.2 million. I have been working on SRF funding, which you're all familiar with, the state revolving loan funds. This come with a 30-year term and a whopping 1.25% interest. So likely what I'll end up doing as we continue some of these projects is using that same kind of loan to tie all these projects into one debt service payment. This project was completely budgeted in this fiscal year, so we're comfortable to make sure everything gets taken care of, and we can get this project going. So, if approved tonight, the next step is I'll work with HCR. We'll get the bids posted on the appropriate websites, get bids back, hopefully back in front of the council by, I'd say, the second meeting in February, first meeting in March. So then the council will present then a bid tab to you, what bids we got back in. So you'll have another chance, I guess, to actually approve or authorize us to actually do the work. So again, right now, tonight, you're just approving, authorizing for us to go out and solicit those bids. So if for some reason the bids come in at twice this that we don't expect, that give the council a chance to take a step back and revisit this. So right now, tonight, we're not, authorizing to expend any monies or anything like that right now, but just go ahead and go out and get those bids. The plan is, if bids come back in time, work could perhaps get started this summer. The engineers don't expect this to be a huge project. There'll be, as you can see in the picture, part of the parking lot at Black Elk will be used up, kind of sectioned off for staging so they can put materials, kind of construction job trailer there and whatnot. But it shouldn't be a big expansive project like we've been doing at the water plant. Any questions for me?
CJ, there's no backup generator up there
Correct.
right now, correct? And the one that would go in this bed is, what is the fuel source for this
It's
generator?
natural gas.
It is natural gas.
I assume there's already a natural gas line.
It is close. As you can see, I just kind of took a snippet out of this overhead view, but the natural gas line will have to be tied in off of, was that 31st Street?
Okay.
So not far. And then just one thing that kind of add to this, I know Tom, you guys are all aware, we've been working on adding fiber to all of our pump stations and well houses. So we'll make sure that that's included on this. So we're trying to get away from using radio antennas to connect all of our computer systems. So as we're doing these things, we're going to put fiber line in right along with power lines and any other conduit that's run, so we'll be ready to go. Any questions?
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Having none, Water and Sewer Committee.
We did meet and discuss, and with adding of the generator and a third pump for redundancy, we thought it sounded like a good deal. And all we're really doing this evening is approving going out for bids. So I would like to introduce Resolution 2026-04.
Resolution number 2026-04 was introduced by Councilmember Paulson, approving the plans and specifications for the Blackout 9R Park pump station project and authorizing staff to solicit bids.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-04 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-04. Please register your vote. All council members present, voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 12, resolution number 2026-05, approving a wastewater assistant supervisor position and job description. Mr. Heaton.
Thank you again, Mayor. Josh, do you want to come up here? I don't mean to put him on the spot, but he did drive all the way here, so. I won't make you talk too much, but just to make the introduction, I don't know if everybody knows Josh Mattson. He's our wastewater plant supervisor. How long have you been with the state? 2003? good number of years, done an excellent job. Started out in the Parks Department, went down to the wastewater plant many years ago. As council remembers, at the start of this fiscal year, part of this fiscal year budget, we had funds in there for a third person. So for many years, the wastewater plant's just run by two guys. It's a lot of work. It's not exactly 24 hours like the water plant in that somebody has to be there by state law, but you guys are down there morning, noon, and night for alarms and call-outs and plant checks. So we've been talking with Josh, now that they added the third person, we thought it would be more in line with all the other departments or divisions of public works to have a supervisor and an assistant supervisor. Right now, in all the other divisions that have somebody on call, the supervisor is usually out of that rotation, and it kind of falls on the assistant and the employees in the department. With only two guys, you guys are on call a month at a time? Have you been doing it? 2 weeks. So it doesn't leave a lot of time for getting out of town or relaxing when a cell phone could go off any minute, the pump back failed, or something's backed up. So kind of looking through some of the payroll reports, the current staff down there, Josh has been an average of at least 48 hours a week, if not more. And the other guys are pushing 44 hours a week or more, depending on the week. So there's a lot of work to be done. It's a busy place. So, having this assistant in there will give Josh a chance to kind of work on, I guess, some of the future of the plant, maybe with all the development and different things coming to town. The plant hasn't seen a major upgrade in 30 years, 40 years.
There was one in 1996.
So, whereas our wastewater, or our water plant has seen improvements every few years, the wastewater plant is, Cargill doesn't need an extra wastewater plant, so we haven't really put a lot of focus on that, but we're starting to see the time has come that that's going to change. I think that we're going to have to kind of modernize some things and maybe adjust. Do you have anything you want to add about the position or anything?
I guess the important part for me to keep everyone happy is we need another person that can answer the supervisory questions. When the state shows up, there needs to be someone there that can answer the supervisory questions specific to the permit. We have 3 permits, all different. And whoever's there can't say, I don't know. That's not an acceptable answer with the state. So we need to have somebody on staff there all the time. If someone shows up, they can answer those questions.
So, just to add, budgets and everything, this position was not originally included in this year's fiscal, the budget was one of the new positions. It's something we had talked about, but hadn't really kind of wrapped our heads around at the time until we got Riley, our third guy there. Looking at the budget, there's still room, I think, to make this all work and stay within those limits. The third person didn't start at the very first of the fiscal year, so there was several weeks that we had budgeted for that position, but those funds weren't expended. And then it's extremely likely, if this position is approved, that we have a strong internal candidate that would likely take this position. And so we've already been paying their wages, so the difference on the year is about $52 an hour for the remainder of the year. So I put the kind of the mid-range pay rate on there, and that's just based off our pay scale, the center point. That doesn't mean necessarily that would be what the pay would necessarily be, but just kind of give you a reference. But I don't, for this fiscal year, it's not going to be an additional $76,000 on top of what we've already spent, because, like I said, unless something unforeseen happens, I think we have a good, strong internal candidate.
Agreed.
Good. Any questions for me or Josh?
Thank you both.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Sewer Committee.
Yeah, we did meet on this. Obviously it makes sense. There's 3 of them now. Falls in line with the other departments. So if there's no questions, I'll introduce resolution 2026-05.
Resolution number 2026-05 was introduced by Councilmember Lester, approving a wastewater assistant supervisor position and job description.
Motion to adopt resolution 2026-05 is presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-05. Please register your vote. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. What is our output for wastewater? Like we know how many millions of gallons our water treatment facilities.
Put them out.
Yes.
Josh can
How much?
throw something at me if I'm wrong, but about 1 million gallons a day right now.
A million a day.
So our water plant, for comparison, is 28 million gallons of water
Right.
a day. But there again, we don't have any major industrial, right now, any major industrial waste user, that's where but the plant's capacity is 2 million gallons a day. And so we're getting close to that 50% point, and we're actually been working with some engineers on, historically, there's been a few times in certain quarters where we've kind of peaked over that, and we want to really watch that so we don't get to the point where we're at 75%, and now we've got to, quickly add on to the plant. And then not only just gallons, the volume of material, but the strength of material. So the waste plant, there's BOD loads, and Josh could go into that way more better than I could. But there's certain strengths of waste that our plant's designed to handle. And as we add more industry and things like that, and the type of waste they get is stronger and requires more work, more coordination, I guess, to be able to treat that properly before it goes back into the river. A lot of science around it, and if any of you wanted to, Mr. Josh would give you the nickel tour.
Thank you. I just wanted to get a pulse check on it. Yeah. Appreciate it. Item number 13, resolution number 2026-06, approving the purchase of Waterworth software for utility rate forecasting. Mr. Heaton.
Thanks again, Mayor. It's my last thing tonight. Here, I get this. So I know for residents, one of the big things is how much is my water bill going to be when we start talking about all of these projects and funds and millions of dollars, and that sounds like a big, scary number. And it can be. And I think the council remembers, so with SRF loans, pretty much every time we do a new loan, we have to basically prove to them that we can meet our debt service payments plus another 35%. We have to have that money in there to cover all of our debt service, to ensure we have operational funds, pay our staff, to buy chemicals to treat the water, everything that goes into getting a gallon of water out the door. In the past, we've relied on consultants about every time we've done one of these to the tune of $10,000 to $15,000 to basically help us kind of do all that math to say, okay, here's all your new debt payments, here's your operation expenses, also looking at the fees that we charge Cargill, to basically help us understand what our rates need to be. This Waterworth software that I've been taking some time over this last 4 months to look at is basically a live tool that gives you a live look, real-time model of what your water rate should be. So the picture up here is a sample. It's not anything tied to Blair by any means, but it gives you a kind of a representation of what this could look like. There's a lot on here, but essentially you can plug into the model all of your expenses, your debt payments, your operations, your salaries, you name it, goes in there. And then it looks at all of your incomes, your inputs, outputs, everything. You can tell the software, I need to have a debt service coverage of 1.35%, and I want to have an operational buffer of another 10% or whatever we feel is comfortable then will tell us essentially what our rates should be to make those kind of payments and keep ahead of the curve with the water plant. So that's a lot of what is on this screen. Again, it's a lot of generic things kind of thrown in here to give a visual, but as we start building this out, I think on the next screen, this is kind of a predictive model of what you would get, where you plug in your rates, your expenses. So the line kind of represents your, say, break-even point, or maybe where you'd like to be. So you can plug all your information in and instantly know, all right, if I spend $1.2 million on a new pump station and don't do anything different, what's that gonna do in 10 years? Well, you could chart this out in theory and see that, oh, we just plugged ahead without changing anything, we're gonna be out of money in another 10, 15 years. So we want to have this tool as we keep expanding and keep adding things, and the plant keeps growing, both in with positions and capacity, a good way to track that and stay ahead of the curve without having to call a consultant every 6 months to help us analyze it. So this again is just some screenshots of what the software will give us. One of the nice things that I like about this, as you're all aware, is our rates are structured so that our commercial users pay a slightly higher rate, our rural users pay a slightly higher rate, and then Cargill, our big industrial giant down there, pays a much higher rate. But the software then will basically track like how many billing utility customers we have and what their usage range is, what type of customer they are, and then you can track kind of over the course of a year which users use more water, less water. All of that can kind of tie back into how we see, Cargill, for example, they're a big user, we know that, so we adjust their rates accordingly to help cover what they're using, the cost of the plant, the cost for all the expansions that we've done. So not only does it do some modeling, I guess, for rates, help us figure out our rate structure. And the nice thing is if I had a live version of the software right now, I could, as we're talking, plug in a $1.2 million new project and tell you instantly what that's going to do to, I guess, the bottom line, if you will, over the next couple of years. The other thing that historically, let's say down at the plant, maybe Public Works wide could have done better on is just asset management. So this software, we can put in all the equipment that we have, all of the pumps, the VFDs, filters. It all has a end of life date. You buy a car, it's good for 20 years or whatever. We can plug that into the software, and it'll help kind of predict out, okay, you bought a new pump, it's good for 10 years, let's say. The software will map out, okay, 2030, we need to get a new pump or a new SCADA system. All of that kind of figured into that, and that all ties back into the rates so that we can keep our rates current and not at some point just think, oh, we're ahead of the curve, let's cut our rates, and then next year we realize we need another $500,000 to go buy a pump. Being able to track this all in one spot, I think will be a great asset for the department and for the city. Just kind of cover up the stuff here, I guess it's, like I said, it's a real-time model, if you will, for our rates and all of our expenses down at the plant. Mentioned the asset management, and then like I mentioned before, typically most of the studies are about $10,000. The last one we did was just over that, and it just focused on water. This software, important to know that we can also put our wastewater rates into this and do the same kind of thing. So if we know 5 years from now, we're going to need to add a train to the plant and wastewater plant to be able to handle more waste, we can start planning for that now and try to get ahead of the curve and subscription for the software, it's $16,000 a year. If we signed up for a 3-year plan, they give us a discount, so $43,200 for 3 years. And that includes training, any kind of support that we need, any kind of help with doing more in-depth analysis as we get questions come up or as we get into building this model out. If I need help, what's it gonna do if I tweak this? I can call somebody up and they'll jump on with me and we'll go through it. And when I talked to the Water and Sewer Committee about this last fall, they asked just what other towns use it. And in your packets is the full proposal from Waterworth. And I think nationwide there's over 300 communities that use this software. So you can see the comments from the Director of Public Works in Norfolk. They use it for water and sewer. They also do trash. So if we ever needed to figure out, kind of model any other fees, we could use that software, the software to do that also. I think there's 10 towns in Nebraska that use this. I reached out to all of them. I heard back from 2 of them over the holidays, but I'm sure they are just busy. But the other one I heard back from was South Sioux City. They use it a little bit different, which is, I think, is kind of interesting, where they kind of help collect all the data and then turn that over to a paid consultant, kind of a hybrid approach. And then they can take that. To me, if the software does it, I don't know why you need somebody to pay somebody else to look at your data. Teach them. That's all I got. Any questions for me? No, there's a lot. Yeah.
When I was reviewing this the other day, I had a couple of questions, so I was like, okay, I was trying to wait and see if maybe they would answer before, but about how often do we need to do these water studies?
We've done one probably every other year. We should do them more, I would say. I think because there's doing the full study is pretty time consuming and expensive. We probably don't do them as much as we should. But I'm working right now on new SRF loans for the new projects. So I very well could see as part of that. I think we finished one a year and a half ago. And then as we've added more SRF debt, I could see them saying, show us that you can make this work. And rather than doing an RFP, soliciting bids through various engineering firms to come in and do all this, once the software's up and running, in a matter of minutes, I could give them a
This comes out to almost $10,000 or $15,000 a year compared to a couple every 3 years, 20 grand. Just wonder if we're going to see a return on that investment that makes it balance out. And then I'm also concerned about this continuous rate management. Sounds like it makes it a little bit too easy when you're factoring in, say, these projects you're talking about. Well, we're gonna put in a $1.2 million addition, so we need to adjust our rates by this much. I think it just makes it very easy then to say, well, we'll put in another $1 million, we just adjust the rates, rather than looking at other ways of controlling those costs. It seems to me if I was a water user, I'd be a little concerned, like, does this mean that rather than just based on my usage, that based on your debt, my monthly water bill is going to vary?
Good question. So, first thing, any changes to that come before the council. So any changes to the rates would come to the council to talk about. What my approach to it is tie it to your budget. So it's not, well, this month we decided to spend another $500,000, $1 million next month. So tie it to the budget. Use this software to kind of help build your budget through the year, and then annually kind of review those rates. A lot of towns get into a situation where they're afraid to raise the rates, and they sit on them for years. And then I'll use Peru, for example. I'm familiar with their situation. They ended up having to basically pipe water in 11 miles away, and everybody's water bill tripled. Blair, and Phil, it's 5, 6 years ago, was the last time we did a rate increase. And we did the last study with the consultant, but we're able to kind of spreading out some of the debt service. I think the average rate would go 1.5% on the last one. So on average, most people's water bill went up less than $2. So I think the more we can fine tune it and stay ahead of it, and I agree with you saying, I wouldn't expect to come every month and say, oh, we gotta go another penny or dollar or what have you. But I think we could be more in tune with what our actual expenses are, rather than, we're gonna take a guess that, okay, we're gonna maybe pad our rates, because we know we've got some projects coming up. I think this will give us a much more accurate picture of what we need.
Thanks, EJ.
Any other questions for Mr. Green? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Water and Sewer Committee, you've been busy tonight.
We met at 6:15 and we're almost till 7. So we did discuss this and we talked about, you know, the term work smarter, not harder. We think this will help understand the impacts to the water and sewer rates, where if we need to buy a new pump or a generator, we can plug it in and see, hey, we can absorb this, or hey, we need to raise the rates. Proactively renew and replace aging infrastructure, know how that's going to impact costs. Be prepared to support growth and increase capacity. So we thought it sounded like a good deal, where he showed on the screen, if we buy it for 3 years, we get a reduced rate, comes with the training and all that stuff, multiple people can use it. It's for sewer and water. So I would like to introduce Resolution 2026-06.
Resolution number 2026-06 was introduced by Councilmember Paulson, approving the purchase of waterworks software from the utility rate forecast.
I would like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-06 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-06. Please register your votes. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. Mr. Green? I'm shocked, 8:03 and we're already to you.
I know, this is great. I was hoping we might be done by 8 o'clock, but CJ had to get up and spend some more money, so that happens. So appreciate that. We'll keep it short. Obviously, you can notice that there's a slightly different sound system that's in the room here. Sad to say that the sound system that was installed in here probably almost 25 years ago by Ortmeyer's went kaput. And the sound boards, and those have not been touched since I got hired in 2005. So it's a fairly old system. The timing was actually fairly good for us. We were working with a consultant out of Omaha regarding a sound system, talking about what would be appropriate for this room. If there was ever remodeling that might be done in this building, could it be a sound system that could be moved to another location? And then one of the things I've kind of committed myself to, and with the mayor, is that we need a decent sound system for outside when we have some of our community activities. You know, we've tried to go the really, really easy, cheap way. Last couple of years, it's burned us badly. We had to delay the lighting of the tree if you were out there, because the sound system was working just fine until we literally turned the mic back on, and then it didn't work again. And so we're having them design one. We'll bring all that design to you. We'll ultimately go out for bid, and you'll obviously be the final arbiter of that. But unfortunately, we have what we have right now. It's kind of a temporary sound system here inside the council chamber. I want to give you a quick update on our software improvements that are going on in City Hall with our BSNA software upgrade. Obviously, the utility billing continues to be the largest component of that. We've been working very diligently since we went live in the middle of November with all of our customers. We appreciate their understanding as we had to work through this particular process. I'm very pleased to let you know that as of tonight, we have 67.4% of our people that are paperless. And so they've kind of listened to what we've been encouraging them to be able to do. This is the last month for them to avoid any kind of a fee starting next month's bill, if they choose to continue to get a paper bill, there will be that $5 fee that will be tacked on top of that. We continue to then use this software and learn all of its capabilities, and keep in mind, it's not just utilities, it's accounting, it does all of our community development, permitting, planning and zoning permitting, code enforcement, tracking. There's just a wide variety of things. Also does business licensing and some other things, animal licensing we're working on right now. So I continue to stress with our staff, don't be satisfied with a brand new program. It's clunky, doesn't seem to work exactly the way you want it to. You got to push through that all the time, and we're really pushing hard on our vendor to help us get things working more efficiently. One of the things that's kind of clunky right now, and I'll acknowledge that, is the monthly reports that we would normally be getting you. So I apologize that we don't seem to be getting it out any quicker, and they may not have all the kind of detail that you want. We're still understanding the capacity and working again with the vendor on that. We hope to have that resolved this month, so that starting in February, you have your customary reports back, and we're actually working on an online feature so that all of you can have an account, and if you ever wanted to go out and look at individual invoices, drill down in, see exactly what the expenses are, you'll have the capability to be able to do that. So be looking for an email. You should be getting that sometime this week. You'll have to set up an account with them. There's the blessed two-factor authentication that you'll have to do, but it's tied into your city government email account. So the very first time you log in, you'll have to go back, look at your email, get that code number, type that into the software. And then we hope to have a dashboard that's designed specifically for all of you as council members to kind of give you some good information there. Any questions on that before I go on? I know software and utilities is a big deal for us right now, but this was a much needed upgrade that had been put off for a long period of time. Did want to finally then just give you an update on the various job positions that had been approved in the fiscal year 26 budget. You saw earlier tonight we had 3 police officers, all lateral, which is great for us because it really speeds up the time that we can get them back on the street and helping us out. But I wanted to give you an update on the other job positions. As CJ had mentioned, we have hired the 3rd wastewater treatment operator. In fact, this was an internal transition, and so Riley Hansen, who had been working over at the water treatment plant, decided to go over to the wastewater plant and work there. So now we have another spot at the water treatment plant to be advertising for. We will be advertising for the utility worker position either this week or the next week. Again, we'd agreed to kind of hold off on that. There isn't as much to do over the winter months for those. Plus, from a budgetary standpoint, it helped for this very first year to kind of do about a half year on that. So we'll be advertising soon for the utility worker. The community service officer used to be our animal control part-time, went full-time under the auspices over at the police department. So a community service officer, Brett Gunderson, who was our former part-time animal control officer, took that position. Again, mentioned the police positions earlier. Again, you had authorized several different positions too, so we still have 2 open sworn officer positions to continue to advertise for, and we hope to try to get those done. I don't know if we've ever, or maybe just for a month or 2, had all of our sworn positions filled all at the same time. So we're excited to get these 3 eventually on board, and hopefully 2 more coming soon. You had authorized another position in the technology area, so our technology support specialist is Jacob Robertson. He started in late December, so he's been with us for not quite a month, but he's learning the ropes. He's been out and about thanks to Tom's good leadership in that area. We have a really nice help desk feature, so all of our employees, it's fairly easy for them to notify exactly what the issues are that need to be addressed, and they're working diligently to get all those things caught up. And as you know, we have just a lot of technology across the city. Police department has a lot between body cameras, cameras in the cars, all those kinds of things, plus all the technology that's up at the library. And then lastly, big position for us was our deputy city administrator for operations. And we did just get that position filled at the beginning of this month. So Dave Scott, I'm going to ask you to come on up and introduce yourself. Let me tell you a little bit about Dave. Dave is the former city manager from Sidney, Nebraska. So born in Lincoln and was looking forward to getting back on the eastern side of the state. So we're really thrilled to have some really good experience for him. So Dave, come on up and kind of introduce yourself to say a little bit about some of your background. And again, glad to have him here. He's basically working over the library, over the finance department. And again, he's a former finance director for Sidney. So comes with a lot of experience on the municipal side, which is great for us. And then also working with our city clerk as well as HR. Welcome.
Thank you. What an honor, I give you the closer, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm super excited to be here. I want to thank the council and Phil for allowing me this opportunity. I look forward to what we can all accomplish together. A little bit about myself, I guess. As Phil said, I was born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I was born a Husker fan. And yeah, and that's where I got my undergraduate and my graduate degrees too, in Lincoln, Nebraska. I worked in the private sector briefly. For about 7 years, I worked for Nelnet. They're in downtown Lincoln. Had several different positions there. My last one, I think, was senior business analyst, I believe. And when I decided to go to municipal government, honestly, it's I started out in Alaska, not Nebraska. I went to Bristol Bay, Alaska, to become the finance director for the Bristol Bay Borough. There's a lot of money in salmon, so that's a big job there. Did that for about 6.5 years, and then I decided it was time to get back to my home state, or what the natives would call the lower 48, and more specifically Nebraska. I looked around to see what was out there, and I saw a finance director job in Sydney, Nebraska, so I applied for that and was offered that position. I did that for about 3.5 years. And then my predecessor, the city manager that was ahead of me, retired. And the city council asked me to be interim while they did their search. And I guess they came to the conclusion that what they had already was what they wanted. And so they offered me the job, and I accepted it. I was the city manager there for about 5.5 years before deciding it was time for me to get closer to all my family in Lincoln and Omaha, and moved to this side of the state. And I saw this opportunity, and I thought it was a very good one. So I'm super happy to be here again. On the personal side, I guess I've got to enjoy some of my favorite hobbies along the way. I love hiking, and of course being in the Panhandle afforded me the opportunity to do some of that in Colorado, where there's some great trails, and also in Wyoming. And then I'm also a big fisherman, and arguably the Bristol Bay is the best fishing in the world, arguably. So I got to do some of that, and I also am a golfer, not a very good one, but I like to golf, and so I enjoy that. And that's a little bit about me. Is there anything that you want to know about?
I think you covered it. Welcome.
Perfect.
Glad you're here.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Any additional questions? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Proposed motion to adjourn this meeting of the Blair City